One evening, Buffalo was sitting by a small pond, watching the sunset. There were fireflies and mockingbirds and all sorts of critters everywhere about, and yet he felt alone. But just then, a small duck walked up to him. He said, "Hello, little duck." And she said, "Hello, little buffalo." They talked for a while, when both suddenly noticed a far-off light that hadn't been there before. A glow over the horizon, not where the sun had gone down, not where the moon had come up. A very special glow, they both agreed, and decided to head out that very night to find it. And so they walked and walked, and they talked and talked, across the plains and into the desert, up the mountains and down in the valleys. They walked and walked and talked and talked. And every night they'd look to see if that light was any closer, but it never was. So they would both decide with smiles and bright eyes to keep going. Going across long, winding stretches and short, wiggly paths. Sometimes they laughed an awful lot, and sometimes they were just so quiet. And when Duck was tired, Buffalo would carry her on his back until he needed rest too. And when Buffalo was hungry in the mornings, the little duck would gather grass and leave a small breakfast bundle right by his nose. And they walked and walked and talked and talked. One day when Duck's feet ached a bit more than usual and Buffalo's brown hair seemed a little more gray, they noticed that the light was still as far off as it had ever been. So they had dinner and sat under an old oak tree. Marshmallows aren't a good dinner, kids, by the way. Just couldn't really draw dinner, so just FYI. It's dessert. Should they stop? Duck and Buffalo asked each other. Buffalo wondered if their great adventure was even worth it. Duck just snuggled close to him and said, "Of course it is." In the morning they began walking again, through warm and chilly days, through dry and wet ones too. They walked and walked and talked and talked. They saw a wise old cactus and even a wide blue sea. They saw the most beautiful sights you could ever imagine. And the light kept glowing and the two friends kept going. It seemed they'd seen just about everything and not really anything, all at the same time. How wonderful, thought Buffalo. How wonderful, said Duck. And one night, under the warmth of that far-off glow, they stopped at no place in particular. Duck was very, very tired, and Buffalo was too. And that was okay. They both sat and watched that far-off glow, and spoke all night of all they'd seen. They laughed and they cried and they smiled into each other's eyes. Duck said, "I'm so very tired. I need to sleep now." Buffalo smiled at her and she at Buffalo. They looked at each other and then at the light, that light that had brought them together on this greatest of trips. And then Buffalo laid on his side so that Duck could snuggle in and sleep in her favorite way. It was very gray now, and she was very sore. Both were very tired, but both were filled full with happiness. In the morning when Buffalo woke slowly, the first thing he saw was a small set of footprints walking off into the tall grass. He followed them with his eyes from where they disappeared, back and back, closer and closer, until they ended just in front of him, and just in front of a small pile of grass, stacked neatly and with great care. He knew it was Duck. He also knew she was gone. And he was so very sad and so very happy, all at the same time. He knew he wouldn't see her again for a very long time, but he would see her again one day. He had a most delicious breakfast and sat almost all day thinking of her and all the steps they'd taken. And as night fell, he saw that old familiar light, though he could swear It was a little brighter now. So he stood up, smiled,